Hi, everybody. This is Hebert. Yes, I know you know. And I'm a former NHL goaltender for the Anaheim Ducks. And listen, we've got a podcast called The Mask and the Mic. And obviously, I am the mask. And I've got a partner in crime, Kent French.
And you're not going to believe this. I am actually the mic in this equation. Yes, longtime broadcaster. And we got a fun one here for you. Of course, hockey-centric, and why not? It is now round 2 of the playoffs. Your Anaheim Ducks taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Gibo, exciting stuff. Evenly matched, and this is going to be a series to remember.
Without a doubt, we've already seen some great goaltending, and I think that's going to continue because it's my favorite topic throughout the course of the series, and I would not be surprised if this one goes the distance.
And we touch on the other teams in the postseason in the West and the East. We also talk about this alumni golf tournament taking place also at Pelican Hill Golf Club. That and much more coming up on a show we like to call The Mask and the Mic. And Gibo, as always.
And good for us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Mask and the Mic. Kent French alongside my broadcast partner, Guy Hebert. We are back for another rousing rendition.
Rousing.
You took the
Not to interrupt you, but this is going to be rousing. We got a lot of fun stuff to
right
talk
out of
about.
my mouth. I was going to say rousing rendition of The Mask and the Mic. My goodness, we are deep into the playoffs, my friend. I had a good conversation regarding round 1. At the time, we were hoping the Ducks would close things out in Game 5. That did not happen, but things happened in Game 6. Gibo, let's start there. Let's start.
Yeah,
what? Thumbs up. Let's start again. Your boots on the ground. Were you there for Game 6?
I was. Insanity. I was like 5 rows behind Connor Ingram.
Really?
And I was flashing out the glove saves and the kick saves. I mean, it was just almost like being back in action. You know, like
don't people behind you going, sit down, Hebert, sit down.
So I didn't jump up unless the Ducks scored, of course.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is that I was kind of twitching.
Yeah.
And I had a glass of wine in the little seat holder, cup holder, and I get this tap on my shoulder, and the guy behind me is like, hey, dude. I'm like, yeah. He goes, like, you're spilling your drink all over me. And I'm like, what?
Oh my
God.
God.
He goes like, your elbows are flying out. And I'm like, dude, it's, it's
a thing.
I used to do this for a living. I'm like, it just happens, right?
Can you have your wife, Sarah, can you just have her do the split screen, like film you, and then we'll have the game going on and see if Dosti have the same mannerisms? I'd love to see how that would look, split screen.
Yeah, I bet it could happen. Yes. I think she was trying to distance herself from me as the game went on. She's like, I'm sitting next to him, but I'm not with him.
That is fantastic.
But yes, boots on the ground. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. So excited.
Yes.
What a great game. Ducks did not sit back and wait to see how the Oilers were going to come out. They set the tempo early. A lot of great forechecking pressure led to early goals. They put the pressure on Edmonton to then chase the game. And, after the series, you heard how banged up the Oilers were. It's never an excuse in hockey, right? I mean, everybody plays hurt. Fortunately for the Ducks, the guys that were hurt included Connor McDavid, so, I mean, I heard that, he was playing with a fractured ankle or some part of that, which with as fast as he was still skating on that ice, hard to imagine that he was injured. But
I'm playing close to 20 minutes a game still on that ankle. Yeah, impressive.
But yeah, what a great signature win for the Ducks. Close it out at home. That place was just absolutely bonkers when that empty net goal went in, and it was a guarantee that they were winning. The crowd, people were hugging each other, high-fiving. I was turning around, they're like, Gee! Whatever, so what a moment. What a moment. The energy and the life and, the fact that the Ducks they're back. I know everybody says mask on. That's the mantra right now.
Right.
But the fans were certainly treated to a wonderful game. And now we're in round 2, Frenchie.
We're in round 2. And one thing I've been telling people as well, when they talk about this Ducks team in the postseason, the mantra was just to get in, right? Just get into the postseason. We heard Henry talk about it at the very beginning. That's why Coach Q was brought on, and that's why they went on and got John Carlson at the deadline. There were things happening going, okay, Pat Verbeek, this team needs to get into the postseason. So the players are hearing that. But once they're in, now you have to change the mindset, Guy, from a player standpoint, is not just to get in, but now, as we like to quote Ted Lasso, you got to believe. And I think Game 1 in Edmonton, when they could have pulled out that victory, that was the first loss in, round 1. I think they started going, we can beat this team. We
Yeah.
are a very good hockey team that's gonna continue to get better. Hey, you know what? Let's forget about 13 guys who are making their NHL playoff debut. Let's go into this thing and believe we can win. And as the series went on, then they come home and they win the 2 at home. They're up 3-1. It's like, we can do this. We are a good hockey team. Is that part of the evolution of a playoff team? You continue to gain confidence and go, you know what? We belong here and we can make a run here.
Yes, 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 and yes, right? I mean, the key is to be able to get into the playoffs. The bonus is with home ice advantage. Sometimes it's overrated. Generally, I would say in the playoffs, you always want to have a game 7 in your building. But heck, I watched Montreal with their Cinderella story against Tampa Bay Lightning,
Yeah.
and they lost game 6 in their building in another crazy overtime, which was 1-0. I mean, what a spectacular display of goaltending by Vasilevsky and Dovesh. I mean, just insane. Sad that one of them had to actually lose that game, but then they roll right into Tampa in the Lions' den with all those players, with all that history, and John Cooper and the veteran presence. And what does Montreal do? They don't really get many shots on that. I think they finished the game with 9 shots, but end up getting a great goaltending performance and push Tampa Bay out of the playoffs. So it may not be as important as we all think. Sometimes there's a little less pressure when you play at home, but be that as it may, if I had to, I would prefer a game 7 at home. But yeah, listen, the Ducks, it's incredible. They had these spurts where they'd go on like a 10-game winning streak, and then they'd slide. I think they had 2 major slides throughout the course of the year. That's part of their learning curve, and trying to get some other players into the lineup. But once you're in, and I think that these guys just figured it out. I think with the coaching staff, they said, "Listen, hey, we're in. We have one opponent. And if we beat that opponent, we get to play another round. And if you do that, then, you set your sights just basically on game to game to game, make those adjustments. And I think the confidence grew from that first game in Edmonton where they could have won that game. And I think it's all about belief. The chemistry is there. The guys are not playing like it's their first time in the playoffs. I think the veterans have been incredible. I think Alex Killorn has shown why he was picked up a few years ago. It's maybe not what he's done in the regular season, which has been very good and solid. But man, he's just one of those guys who knows how to turn it on in the playoffs. And he's been outstanding for the Ducks. Physical, scoring goals, getting in front of the net. I mean, kind of paying the price, doing a lot of those things that the younger guys are emulating. And I think that, now as they've now moved on to the round versus Vegas, it's a similar team in one sense, Frenchie, to Edmonton. There's a lot of veterans, not a lot of young players. So I think that youthful exuberance with the Ducks, I mean, I think just you can't beat it, right? You see Seneca out there. I mean, Troy Terry not being a 22-year-old, but his first time in the playoffs, you can see how excited he is. Cutter Gauthier at 22, Leo. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on of the impact that the guys are having, and it's just so well balanced between the veterans and the young guys.
Here's what I love. Environment, right? Hockey environments. And for these players who haven't had a chance to experience it, it is unlike any other from what I've experienced in sports, and a lot of people will tell you the same. But going into Canada with the pressure on the Edmonton Oilers, what that fan base, that environment was like, and then all of a sudden, Gibo, now we're going to Vegas. Now we're going to Sin City. Elvis is in the building. Everyone's wearing the shiny, glittery jackets. The showgirls are there. We've been there. It's insane, right? Outside, the environment's insane. You go inside, it's crazy, it's fun. And it seems like now this team, the Anaheim Ducks, embracing the craziness, the excitement, and thriving in this environment. And it is fun to watch. And I mentioned it to you just a minute ago. They're evolving. They are now becoming a team that is really thriving in this environment. So let's dive in to game number 1 in Vegas. And you and I were just chit-chatting a little bit prior to coming on here and pressing record, but one of the best efforts you've seen from this Anaheim Ducks team. I mean, clearly they were the better team despite the outcome in game number 1.
Yeah, first, let's just quickly talk about goaltending, so we can circle back to goaltending.
Goaltending, of course, we
Of
got to talk
course.
about goaltending.
This series, I think, is going to be a series of just superb goaltending performances. Last night, we got a chance to see that, right? I mean, Dostal, not as busy as Carter Hart, but equally as good. Some incredible timely saves, especially in the third period. His first shot in the night was a breakaway. And so, I mean, he was locked in early on. You could see the confidence build throughout the game. And, those are the type of games. It's 1-0. It's a very odd game for the Ducks to be in, just a 1-0 game for, I don't know, about 50 something minutes, maybe.
Right.
And then at the other end, Carter Hart, really spectacular in his own right, robbing the Ducks on multiple quality opportunities. So I think that's going to be something that we see as a common theme throughout this playoff run, is that this series is going to boil down to great goaltending. But heck, I mean, what a performance. I mean, the Ducks finally figured out how to play better defensively for the most part. They kept Vegas to the perimeter. They didn't get a lot of guys inside those slot areas. And when they did, Dostal made those big saves. I just think that this matchup is great. I think that, they, as in Vegas, are very wary of the Ducks' speed. And any team that the Ducks are going to play beyond this round, if they move on, is that speed, it just backs off the defense. And so the Ducks are creating some great opportunities. We saw the incredible play by Leo Carlsson doing kind of a spinorama. And then not only did he do the spinorama and beat somebody, then he moved in and deked out another defender. And then, by the way, he found, Jackson LaCombe all alone in front of the net with a wide open net. And, unfortunately, Jackson, I think he was predetermined that he in his mind was trying to dish it back to Troy Terry because he thought that the goalie was going to kind of just drive and lunge across at him. Where, I mean, in hindsight, everything's a lot easier, right? He could have put it on the empty net and scored the goal. But, Jackson certainly is a guy who's going to get more opportunities to do that. And I don't think that's one that you really dwell on.
I think what's exciting too in the postseason, I brought it up a couple times before postseason play started. I'm like, how long can the Ducks play like this and be successful, right? As far as
fire wagon hockey,
trade chances and be okay with it. I think that's starting to wear, and the other opponents are starting to think about that, because if they score, the Ducks are okay with that. They're okay with spotting a team 1 or 2, even in the postseason. And what I liked about this last game number 1, is they still were okay playing 1-0, 0-0, and that didn't affect the way they were playing. They outshot Vegas in each of the 3 periods. And, you talk about withstanding the storm, right? Weathering the storm in the opening 5 minutes when you're playing in a hostile environment like Vegas. They outshot them like 5-1 to start, 11-6 in the opening 20, a 0-0 hockey game, as you mentioned. I mean, so they came out and they were playing and they were pushing the entire game, regardless of the score. They didn't change the way they played. They are playing who they are. They're fast. They trade chances. They're okay with giving up chances on the other side because they know they have the talent to get it done. On the other side of the ice. So it's fun to watch and the confidence is there. But I do want to, so you mentioned LaCombe, arguably the best player on the ice, despite, not taking that shot. And I give him all the credit in the world for a 25-year-old kid. His postseason, debut, stands up in the locker room and answers all the tough questions. But for that play, he was involved in all the other big plays on the ice. I mean, he was involved in the Ducks goal to Mikhail Granlund. He put the puck on the net. He drove the net, found an open seam. It was off of Carter Hart's pad, and Granlund put it in. But 65 seconds later, after the tying goal, should it have been, Guy Hebert, an icing call in the Ducks zone? Jack Eichel, LaCombe going for the puck. Icing was waved off. Right after that, Barbashev put the puck in the back of the net, and that proved to be the game winner. Very controversial. Coach Q was hot after it, right after the play.
Steaming.
After the game, he was steaming. I haven't, and he's an emotional guy, and I haven't seen him that hot this year. Certainly the stakes are higher.
Yes.
What did you see watching that game, and what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was interesting because they did have Dave Jackson, former ref, actually when I played, and he kind of broke it down what he thought the linesman saw. And so from my vantage point, sitting on my couch, of course, I saw the chip puck, which was designed to make it a 50-50 puck between Jack Eichel and Jackson LaCombe. And so it went probably a little further than Vegas wanted to lob it in. What I saw was that Eichel was kind of right in the hip pocket of Jackson. And I think that they both were assuming that it was going to be an icing, right? Because Eichel didn't really blast by him, but he was right on his hip pocket, almost equal or in front of him. But 99% of the time, that's just blown down as an icing. It's kind of like, does tie go to the runner type of thing, right? Is it like, oh, is a tie go to the runner, or is tie go to the out? And normally in the NHL or in hockey in general, when it's in question, they always blow it as an icing. So that's part one. Part two is the fact that as you watch the play continue and Jackson and Eichel both realize that it's not an icing, Jackson, to his own admission, and the other players on the ice, I think, it's that thing, you're expecting the whistle. It doesn't happen. You've all of a sudden taken your foot off the gas. And once Vegas realized it wasn't, they had two guys driving to the front of the net. And as Barbashev came out of the corner, and he was looking for options. Jacob Trouba was kind of in no man's land. He was trying to take the higher slot and didn't see the back door. And I think Jackson kind of let the guy peel off the wall a little bit easier than he normally would have. So I just think it was a culmination of things just based purely on the fact that everyone expected the whistle. But listen, it's a great learning curve. We talk about it all the time in different facets of the game, is that going into another play, not one Ducks player, defender, will expect icing to be icing unless it's icing, or offsides, or icing in the offensive zone. I think that they're going to take this to heart and say, listen, that's a great lesson to learn. We need to take this and move forward with it as something to put in our back pocket, that we can't count on the ref not waving that off, ever again. So do I think it was icing at the end of the day? I do, and that's just not as a Ducks fan. I just think that's what the call should have been. Dave Jackson explained it as, it's not a race to the dot, which determines whether it's icing or not. I think a lot of fans are under that impression, who's gets to the faceoff dot first. It's as they get to the faceoff dot, who does the lineman see being the first that would have been able to get possession of the puck? And so if it's a tie, they're probably going to wipe it off. And I think that's what the linesman saw, was like, hey, this is a 50-50 race for the puck. I'm waving this off. So that's how Dave Jackson explained it to the fans.
Yeah, you can see LaCombe too, kind of moved his arm inside of Eichel and looking over, showing that he had position, that he had positioning, and that he was there first. But to your point, and you grow up, when you play sports that whistles are involved, you play to the whistle, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's one of the hardest things, because you've been playing for so long, then you're expecting it. You know the game so well that you are expecting it. To actually play to the whistle, sometimes very difficult, but certainly a tough lesson to learn, especially in the postseason. So,
well, I've got something else to add, and it puts kind of the onus and the pressure on the goaltender. And there's a lot of things going on for a lot of the players, but it's the goaltender's responsibility. And I'm sure Dostal was trying to communicate with Jackson. And when the icing is waved off late, then even if you communicate, sometimes it's almost too late. But I think that's one big area to make sure that, the goaltender, he's got eyes for the defenseman, right? The defenseman's heading into the corner. It's hard to take a peek at the linesman at that point when you feel the pressure on you. So the goaltender has to be the guy being your eyes and making sure he's barking out some orders, icing, no icing, whatever it is. But, the goaltenders indeed have a very simple communication pattern. And, as soon as the defenseman hears something from the goaltender, he knows immediately what he needs to do.
One more time, back to Jackson LaCombe, though, too. He played a team high 28 minutes, 7 seconds. The assist on Granlund's goal gives him 10 points, which is only second to Quinn Hughes for defenseman scoring in the postseason. You can't say enough about what he has done. And talk about getting better with every series. This is a guy that didn't see a lick of ice time during the Olympics. Again, you kept telling me how stacked they were, and then you have what he's doing, and Quinn Hughes, his teammate on Team USA, is leading the way for defensemen. But my goodness, what a series he is having. We saw it this year, as people that cover the team. But Jackson LaCombe is a name that people, if you didn't know who he was, you definitely know who he is now.
But that's the great thing about the playoffs is that people who don't watch the Western Conference at all because they're on the East Coast or Midwest, and they might see the Ducks one time a season, and they might be like, "Oh, I heard about this player, Lacombe or Gauthier or Leo Carlson, whatever." But when they don't see him on a regular basis, they really don't know how special they are, and I think that's what Jackson is showing now nationwide, a worldwide audience of what he's capable of doing. And we think about his breakout season last year, and then we think about, Pat Verbeek signing him to that extension in the summer that doesn't kick in till next season, which was a lot of money and a lot of term. And you think, okay, is he going to continue to evolve? I mean, he may have some pressure making that kind of money. But listen, he just does what he does on the ice. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's a Scotty Niedermayer-ish skater where
And that's
he's
saying
just
a
out
lot.
there.
That is a hell of a
Yes.
comparison because Scotty's the best.
Yeah. I mean, being able to skate forever. And when you're logging 28 minutes in a playoff game that does not go to overtime, those are numbers that great players like Scotty was putting out there. I mean, if Ducks fans want to rewind and think about how much time on the ice that, Niedermayer and Pronger spent out on the ice during that playoff run to the Stanley Cup, you start looking at that, and they were out there for about 30 minutes a night. And that's where Jackson is. He's high 20s, and he just doesn't. He never looks tired, and I think that's the thing. He's so well conditioned that when you watch him, he comes off from a shift, and you're like, I can't believe he's right back out there again. But credit him for being able to just take charge. And, I know he's wearing an assistant captain label, right? He's got the A on his jersey. And I know the Ducks are always thinking about, down the future, who may be the next captain after Radko Gudas. And we make some assumptions as just fans. And, you think about, okay, well, Leo Carlson probably would be the, guy who might be it, or, maybe Cutter Gauthier. Like you start to prognosticate, Mason McTavish. I mean, who might fit the bill? I have an inkling that with the way Jackson LaCombe is starting to play, and of course, the way he's handling himself, as you said, in the media, I mean, that speaks volumes for him and his character and his maturity. It speaks volumes with his teammates to say, like, hey, I mean, here's like our best player in the playoffs. He feels bad that he didn't score a goal when he tried to pass it again, and he was on the ice for the winning goal. And that's what guys look up to. That's a leader who steps up in front of the cameras and just, just honest, just totally honest to how things went, how we saw them, and what he needs to do to get better. So, good on him. And I can only imagine that in game 2, there'll be a little more fire under Jackson LaCombe. Not that he really needs it, but I can't wait to see how he plays.
Great point by you. Jackson LaCombe for me wasn't not because of who he is, just knowing the other players on the team that maybe, have a little more charisma, at least from the out, like a Cutter,
Right.
to eventually wear that C because it'll be passed on. And I'm sure Pat is looking at someone that's going to wear it for a long time in an Anaheim Ducks sweater. But Jackson LaCombe, I think I completely agree with you. The way he has played, the way he stood up in the media, what he has done and what he's turned into, and knowing he's going to be here for a long, long time, I think he is definitely going to be in the mix for
Yeah.
that C. I think that's a great conversation to have. I think Ducks fans should be extremely excited. Just a leadership group coming with these, younger players on the Ducks, and as we just mentioned, they're evolving and they're maturing even more so in the postseason on the biggest stage in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So good on them. And you alluded to game number 2 taking place on Wednesday, May the 6th. That would be back in Vegas. I'm sure the Elvis costumes will be back in there. Can't wait to see all those guys show themselves on TV once again. I am going to say though that knowing what the Ducks went through experience-wise game 1 in Edmonton, knowing they outplayed the Oil, could have come away with a victory. They were 2 plays away, and again, the playoffs are all about inches, right? All about plays,
Yes.
all about making that one play the other team doesn't make. You have to think the Ducks are gonna go into game 2 with a ton of confidence. Like you said, fired up LaCombe, fired up team, and knowing that that one got away from them a little bit, I'm looking forward to seeing what game 2 and how that unveils.
And I think the fact that the power play, which has been red hot at 50%
0
going
for
into that game,
4, right?
was
Yeah.
was, and so listen, let's unpack that quickly for
Yes.
for just a second. So, okay, different team, so different players, different personnel, different goaltender. It might have shown the weakness that Edmonton had a little bit more. Their goaltending, their defensemen, how they decided to defend against the Ducks power play. So now all of a sudden you roll into a thing where you have to make those adjustments, right? So I think that game one, I think they're going to break down the film. They're going to look at what's going on. I thought that the Ducks were just slightly more hesitant with their passing and decision making against Vegas, and that's to be expected because listen, you got Mark Stone out there, you got Jack Eichel, you got McNabb out there, you got Shea Theodore, you got guys who have been around the block who defend very well. They take away those seam passes. They know when to collapse. They know when to pressure. So I think that's just part of as the series goes on. It's identifying those weaknesses that they can exploit. And when they find those, they will do that. A great point is that Mitch Marner tried to make the same pass the Brett Howden earlier in the game, and it didn't connect. And then when they had a second opportunity, it was almost an identical play, and it was amazing to see because they had corrected their mistake where Mitch Marner kept the puck a little bit longer, moved into a little bit different area, which kind of exposed a little bit of a passing lane, and it opened up that backdoor pass for their goal. And so I would expect the same type of adjustments for the Ducks on that power play. But it is crucial to move forward that, that momentum swing that you get from scoring a power play goal, the momentum swing you get when you kill a power play. And listen, Vegas has been red hot in the PK department. I've only given up one power play goal in the playoffs so far. I think they are now 20 kills out of 21 opportunities. So it's certainly going to be a big part of this series.
Before we move on to another topic here that I want to touch on, Carter Hart. Whoa. Like what a, roller coaster he's had.
Yeah.
The fact that he finds himself as a starter. Are you surprised he's taken over the reins in Vegas? We know he's damn good, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he was a really good goaltender in Philadelphia, and on a not a very good team, right? So, like any goalie, you're going to have some nights you look spectacular, other nights you don't look so good. Your stats are going to take a hit, but he certainly was that goalie and goalie of the future for the Flyers. We'll fast forward past all the turmoil and get to his another lease on life, getting a chance to get back in the NHL, to play with a very talented team, a team that's won the Stanley Cup back in 2023, looking to make another run at it. And so with Adin Hill, some injuries this year, inconsistent play. I think that they said, listen, we got a goaltender who we think could be our goalie now for not just this season, but for the future. I mean, Carter Hart has got a lot of years ahead of him to play. He's been rock solid in the first round. He looked very good last night. And I think that's the thing. That's the key is when you see a goaltender make these key saves. I've said it a million times on any forum I've been on, Ducks pregame show, postgame shows, our podcast, anybody's podcast. I'm like, when goaltenders make the saves they're supposed to, and then they make a couple of the ones that they are not supposed to, just the energy that it provides to the guys on the ice and especially sitting on the bench, it just gives them that boost of confidence of like, our guy is on tonight and it's going to take a lot for him to be beat. So that just gives you that surge of energy to be like, okay, we need to go get him a goal or get him a couple goals and then make him not hopefully to work so hard, but we know he's going to be there in the clutch. I think both teams feel that way. And I think Carter Hart is showing the NHL, hey, I might have been away for a little bit, but I'm back and I'm here to make a statement. And, it's going to be as a former goaltender, I love a series where goaltenders are at the forefront making great saves.
All right. Another tail at the tape that we won't touch on now.
Are we done with goalies?
We are done with goalies. No, well, no. For this series, we are. We're going to dive more into goalies in a minute. Just to make a quick note, another game within the game on this one is Tortorella against Quenneville. 4 cups between them.
Yes.
Hundreds of playoff wins. I mean, it's incredible what those two have done. And so to watch them go head to head, 2 great hockey minds, that's been fun to watch as well. Now, the other series taking place in round 2 in the West. This is okay. I pause because now we go back to goalies again because I want to know, Guy Hebert. It wasn't 2-1. It wasn't 1-0. It wasn't 3-2. It was 9-6 final in game 1. It was
Yeah,
Minnesota at Colorado. Hold on. Like,
yeah,
if you're a goalie, tell me. I mean, you were mentioning you're just watching a game and you got reactions and twitching. Are these goalies doing that in their sleep after a 9-6 game? I mean, that is
yes.
unheard of in playoff hockey. I have a stat here. Hold on. 10th playoff game ever with at least 15 combined goals. First since 1994. 14 different players, Guy Hebert, scored a goal in that game. 5 goals in each period. Um, it was insane. It's more like a baseball score, if that. I mean, how do you how do you react as a goalie to that game? Does that give you nightmares knowing that 15 goals were given up in a postseason hockey game?
Well, I mean, you're talking about Minnesota Wild, probably the best defensive team remaining in the playoffs. And, Colorado's no slouch, of course. Obviously, they're known for their offense. So I thought it might be a little higher scoring than the Wild would want it. That being said, 4-3, 5-4, something to that matter. But yeah, that score, I'm sure, is not indicative of how the series will go. I think that both teams are breaking down the thing, going, whoa, whoa, whoa! We can't score 6 goals and lose a game in the NHL playoffs in the second round. Like it sounds impossible, right? As for the goalies, yes, what it does is, as good as the goalies are in the NHL, generally speaking, and how good they're able to bounce back and the confidence they have. It is a chink in the armor, right? You get hit for that many goals against, and you haven't given up that many goals in multiple games, that all of a sudden, does the confidence slip? And do you start to fight the puck because of that? Now it's game 2 is going to be really interesting to watch, to see how the goaltenders, bounce back. I would expect that they will and have no issue. Goalie's good about compartmentalizing. That's the end of the game. You put it in the back pocket or a rear view mirror and you just move on. And all you're doing is trying to stop the next shot. With that being said, I think the two teams defensively both need to clean up what they're doing out in front of the goaltenders. I think that became such a run and gun type of game where I watched the majority of that game and I was like, oh, 5-5 after 2 periods. Oh, this will be interesting. Is it going to be like 7-5, 7-6? Somebody gets an empty net. It's 6-5, you get an empty netter.
Right.
Oh, no. No, number 9 was the empty netter, right? But with that being said, it was incredible. It shows, anybody else that's in the Western Conference, I guess for the Eastern Conference as well, is like, if you possibly might face one of these two teams, whether it's the conference finals or in the Stanley Cup finals,
Right.
like Colorado's offense is wicked scary. And we've all known that all season long. Now, Minnesota, they showed that they can score some goals too. But it also opens up the door that they are susceptible to being scored on themselves. So I would expect a much tighter game, Frenchie, in game 2. I think that the first period will be a lot of clogging up the neutral zone, making sure that, McKinnon doesn't have a freewheeling pass to get up the ice. Really anybody, Landeskog, you talk about Cale Makar getting up into the play. They just have, one after the other that can really jump into the play.
Yeah, it's intriguing to say the least. Again, another stat. I have a few stats
I
to
love
throw out
stats.
there.
I love stats.
Since the Colorado Avalanche franchise moved to Colorado in 95-96, the Avs are 72-1 in the postseason when leading by 3 or more goals. Pretty
Wow.
damn impressive, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
they do not give up leads. So, and you mentioned high scoring. They love to score, and usually they're very good with a lead. So game 2 will be interesting. Just a quick touch on the East. That's been intriguing to watch. Our friend Freddie Anderson playing well for the Canes at the time that we're taping
Yeah.
this podcast, up 2-0. It's about goal. Again, we're keeping the goalie theme in here, Gibo. I keep going back to goaltenders.
Yeah, it's the best time of year for goaltenders because someone will emerge
Yes.
as the best out of the rest, right?
I agree.
And right now, I'm not really sure who's going to be that guy. Dobish has been incredible, right? You got Alex Lyon taking the reins in Buffalo. You got Freddie, who's been didn't. I mean, he had an average regular season, but you make your you make your money, but you make your career and kind of your legacy when you get to the playoffs. And Freddie has been outstanding, and Dan Vladar, uh, insanely good, right? I mean,
Yep.
Calgary obviously didn't know what they had with him or in him before they moved him to Philadelphia. Great new lease on life for him. He has been the reason that they moved on to the second round without a doubt. So you got these great goaltender matchups, and I mean, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, once again twitching, trying to make saves, and it's incredible. So
hopefully you don't have white carpeting and you're drinking red wine, because you're going to be spilling stuff all over the place at home. I can only imagine Sarah's going, hey, you know what?
She's
Move
put
to the
a
other room.
baby top on there, the things
Hardwood
where you got to
floors.
sip out of it. I got a sippy cup.
I'm just going to touch on the other series real quickly, because you alluded to it at the very beginning of this podcast when you talk about the Abs getting by the Lightning in 7 games. But
The Avs?
Coach,
The Avs?
Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, the Habs.
Habs.
I thought you said Ab. Listen, people at
Or
home
the
might
abs.
get
We don't have. I don't
abs.
have abs. I don't talk about abs.
The
a lot.
Abs. Yes.
I don't talk about abs. But when you talk about the Canadiens, you talk about coaches, right? We alluded to the coaching matchup that the Ducks are in right now, but Martin St. Louis seems like a coach I'd want to play for. He's got fire. He's got that player coach thing going on too, and social media is great when it comes to that. He's in the locker room after Game 7 and he's singing with his team. I mean, he seems like that type of guy. He's been there. He's got the respect from that aspect of things, so he knows what the players are going to. He's won, and then he steps into this role. What a great time for Montreal and for St. Louis as a coach.
Well, and against his old team, right? I mean,
yes.
What a great player, legend he is in Tampa Bay, and then have the opportunity to go in as a coach and beat Tampa, especially in a Game 7 in their building. Listen, is it the Matthew McConaughey thing, right? Right? That's what they were doing, right? And I love the fact that
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was like,
it was awesome.
Whatever they're doing is cool. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah, that's totally a McConaughey thing.
But yeah, so that was awesome.
So
and
good.
you got to engage. I listen, when I played for coaches and they engaged with you,
yes,
celebrating in the wins, feeling like they were right there with you in the losses, not pointing fingers. And that was one of the great things about, you could see when Jackson LaCombe, not to come full circle or whatever, but when Jackson passed that puck and didn't shoot, he went back to the bench and the cameras went right on him. And I don't know if it was Jay or it was Coach Q or which coaching staff member it was, but all they did is they walked up to him and they patted him on the shoulder and said, get him next time. So, that was a great moment right there of not, berating the player. Like, what were you thinking? It was more, hey, I'm just going to keep encouraging to do what you're doing. And I think Martin St. Louis is doing the same thing. I mean, 9 shots on goal for the game. I mean, again, Dobish was out of his mind. Looks, and I'd love to hear from our viewers or whatever.
One word, opportunistic.
Yeah, but who does he remind you of? A Montreal Canadian great?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he looks like a young Patrick Waugh. I mean, he really does. His mannerisms, the way, being a tall guy, he gets down really low at the butterfly. He's been a really enjoyable to watch. But just the passion and the effort of the Canadians players. Jake Evans, I mean, just physical presence out there, taking the body, scoring goals, fighting people, high sticking people, like just trying to do it all. Slavkowski getting in a fight with Hagel, standing up for himself. He gets dropped with a right, but keeps plugging along. I mean, these are just great moments that these young players, especially the young guys, are learning as they go through most of them their first try at the NHL in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So a great series is coming up. I mean, Buffalo. I mean, do we want to talk about Buffalo? My roommate from college is from Buffalo. He's been a lifelong Buffalo Sabres fan. They have not cheered a lot in Buffalo for the Sabres in a long, long time. I think maybe Dominic Hasek, Ryan Miller. I mean, those were the last times. I know I chatted with Millsy in another podcast, and his first time in the NHL playoffs with Buffalo. They were able to win the first round, I think, in a game 7 in Buffalo. And he said it was just, again, insanity with the passion of the fans. And oh, by the way, after the Sabres won and they got back to Buffalo at like 1:30 in the morning, there were tons of people there at the airport and celebrated as they came off after they clinched the series.
Pretty cool. And yeah, I know you talk about the Ducks fan base,
Yeah.
desperate to get back in. Try doubling that in Buffalo. I mean, that's pretty much what it's been like. Well, good stuff on the postseason, and we'll see where we're at next time we tape this podcast, where everything lies.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, people are going to be waiting to hear because all of a sudden from one week to the next, a lot's going to change.
Things are changing. We're going to move from the ice to the links, Gibo, a place that you spend a lot of time on when you can.
When I can.
When you can. And there is a big tournament coming up when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks alumni. Can you please enlighten everybody on when and where that is taking place?
Absolutely. It's our annual alumni golf tournament, and it will be at the beautiful Pelican Hill Golf Club on this Thursday, May 7th. Everything's closed up. There are no spots. So if you're thinking about doing and joining us next
You're
year,
late.
you are late. You are too late, but happy to have you sign up in the future for next year. But it's a great time. One alumni for every threesome that's out there.
Cool.
So it's a quick pace, tons of fun, good golf, probably some bad golf as well. But a memorable day, lots of prizes, a lot of auction items. And I think it's one of those things that we as alumni really embrace. We're happy that we have it going. I think this is our third rendition of the alumni golf tournament. So looking forward to it. And it's great. It falls in between hockey days for the Ducks, right? We got a game before and a game after. So looking forward to be able to talk a lot of hockey with the fans and the other golfers.
And Alumni Association for the Anaheim Ducks continues to grow. I mean, you're a big part of it. You're very involved, but there are a lot of other players that, are getting involved, and other guys that have been involved from day one. I mean, can you throw out some names of guys we might see for those Ducks fans and really hockey fans for some of these, all-time greats that played here in Orange County?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one guy you won't see. And it's no shocker. We've been trying to get Paul Correa to come out. And listen, I know he doesn't want to golf.
You just want to drive him in a car. He doesn't want to come out there.
We need him to come out and support us, right? We're all part of one big family. So Paul,
come on, Paul.
If you're listening,
if you're listening,
we know you're listening. We want you out there because listen, when Paul lets his hair down, he is a hilarious guy, and the fans would love to see him out there. Just kind of chit chatting, and of course, all the rest of the alumni guys would love to see him. But we're working on him. So
he's surfing, probably. I mean,
he probably is.
He's
surfing.
got other things going on.
Yeah, he's stretching.
He's busy
stretching, doing yoga, something. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of the guys who are local, Jason Marshall,
architect.
Yeah. Dave Karpa. I think we're Tamu. I think he's on.
Is he going to be playing tennis somewhere or traveling the world, or what's he doing?
I think he's on the DL. I saw via Instagram something about a knee surgery. So I have not heard that officially. Okay. So I'm not sure of his status, and maybe he'll be riding around in the cart. Which
I can see that
as entertaining as always, right?
Yes.
Millsy's going to be there. I think. You caught me off guard. I have a whole list of guys.
I know. I'm just throwing out
one of the original guys, Jeff Jean. Maybe Jeff Friesen. I think Brian Allen will be there. Kind of the list goes on and on. Laddie Cohn. So, and we're trying to ingratiate some of the guys that are kind of just back. I think Joe DePenta is local again, and I think Joe's going to come. I think maybe Kent Huskins. Husky is working as a scout, so I don't know if he will have a job to do and he'll be on the road, or whether he'll be able to be at the alumni golf as well. So, but a whole host of guys. I wish I could remember everybody, and it's always that thing like an acceptance of a word of speech, and you just try to thank everybody, and then you forget half the people you should thank.
Well, I love it too, because you never know who's going to come into town. One year, Chris Pronger flew in. So,
So Chris, thank you. Yep. So Prongs is flying into town.
He is.
Getsy is flying into town. So thank you for the memories. So a couple big cats rolling in, and then I think one of our other four former guys, God, I hate to throw it out here, but somebody else is coming in that hasn't been here in years, doesn't live locally. I think played during my era, and I'll figure that out for
By the
sure
way, he
and
does
talk
this
about
on
it next week.
purpose. It's a big tease. He
Yeah,
just wants you to show up. He's just full of it. He
yeah.
knows exactly who's flying in, and yeah, this is
Yeah,
what
we
he
just
does.
don't fly in anybody.
By the way, I want to just give a not a shout out, but a comment. Temu on Instagram posted he was going to a Ducks game in round 1 wearing this orange jacket. He was very proud of said orange jacket.
Yes.
It happens to be a jacket for winning the Anaheim Ducks golf tournament.
Uh-huh.
Gibo, you and I didn't post wearing a jacket, but you and I both have an orange jacket because we too, in the same group, have won the Anaheim Ducks golf tournament. Just want to throw
Yeah.
that out there,
Let's
Teemu
yeah.
Solani.
Temu, I mean, we can one up
Yes,
you, I guess, or
we
even up
have
you.
two.
We can show up with our 2 orange jackets, and
So there.
yeah.
Just
You're
so
not
you
the only
know, you're
one.
not the only ones
Hey,
rocking your orange blazer.
hey, that reminds me, speaking of jackets, so I had to go into my storage unit, and I'm going through all these old bins of stuff that I have saved since the inaugural season.
Yes.
And, during our inaugural season, we were given these jackets, and, it looks like I don't know, almost like a college or a high school, like, sports jacket, the ones you have, like the Letterman jacket, and it is, the old, purpley whatever color, and it's the OG. It's an original jacket from the first season, so if you're at the games coming up, I'm gonna break that bad boy out and start wearing
Really?
it's not exactly the jacket that the boys are wearing and giving out in the locker room from the Mighty Ducks movie, the Coach Bombay jacket, but it is a similar jacket that we got in that inaugural season. So, you might see me wearing it.
I
It
love
could
it.
be like the fan good luck charm.
I love it. You just reminded me. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is called riffing, by the way. We're just now riffing. We're just
Yeah.
talking and getting caught up right now. So, I hosted back in the day we did like a Mighty Ducks 2 movie premiere or something like that. We had a bunch of the cast members up and I was
Yes.
hosting it and they gave me a Gordon Bombay jacket that I still have
So you should
in
break
my
that out
closet.
at
I
the next
might have to bring
yeah.
that out if I do go to a game. So, okay, that's on the table. Number 2, though, for those of you watching us at home on YouTube, Hebert is starting his own cooking show because behind him is the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, listen, as you know, I've tried like every spot in this house to find proper light. Like I'll have people text me or DM me and say, "Hey
Oh,
man,
so
love the
good.
podcast, but I can't really see you. You're too dark. Do you have a ring light?" I'm like, "Of course I got a ring light." I sometimes will just pull it out and show so that people see they have a ring light. I have every light on in my house.
Yes.
And so what I do is I'm doing this off of a desktop computer. And I think since it's so big, it's shadowing my face. So I tried this. So I'd love to hear the comments of whether this is too good. I look very, very white, so I don't think it's that good. But
Oh.
maybe I need to just get I don't even own a laptop, right? I probably need a
Oh,
laptop
yeah, you got a big
smaller.
old screen on your
Yeah,
kitchen counter is what you're doing right
yeah.
now. That's right.
Yes. So
Wow. Anyways,
I'm always here for constructive
I
criticism.
just wanted to let everybody know that's why the kitchen's behind Gibo in this
Yeah.
shot here. He's got
I
the
gotta
sweet
make I gotta
kitchen
make
look. He's gotta
lunch
make
and probably
something.
make dinner tonight, and, there's a lot of things I need to do. I'm trying out for Chopped. Put that out there. I'm gonna be on
All
Chopped.
right.
Or
We're gonna
or worst cooks in America, one
we're
of the
gonna
2.
we're gonna end this riffing session by commenting again if you're watching at home. So I need to describe this. Gibo, before we went on, put a hat on
Yes.
and said, "Hey, this is a tequila company, and we're looking for sponsors, folks."
Yes.
So
Can you see it clearly?
yeah,
Yes.
I can see it now.
Alright, well, they were sponsors at the Athletes First golf event, right?
There
I
you
told you
go.
about that. So curious that if they are fans of the show and
Yes,
might have to send a DM and we'll send them a little clip of how we love this tequila. And it is right there on my head.
there it is.
Yeah.
Gibo's got
Pump it
it. So
out.
that.
Pump it out.
All right. Well, this has been another rousing rendition, as we said at the very beginning, of The Mask and the Mic. Just to let everybody know, for those of you that want to watch this debauchery on your YouTube, it's The Mask, the Mic on our YouTube channel, The Mask, the Mic Instagram, and of course, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So Gibo, exciting stuff. Round 1 of the books. Off to round 2. Cannot wait to see what next week unfolds. Enjoy yourself, by the way, and hit him straight at the alumni golf tournament.
Absolutely. If I don't come home with some sort of championship ring, belt, jacket, I'll be disappointed.
And let me know if Tamu's driving around in his orange jacket.
Oh, I'll send you pictures, yes.
I can't wait to see it. And as always, Gibo, how do we end this thing?
Yes, and good for us.